Hey guys, this is Production Music Live with another tutorial, and this is part 2 of our series about the basics of sound design. In part 1 we've learned how to make a plug sound, and today we are going to learn how to make a nice pad sound. And actually we are working on a new course about the basics of sound design, where we explain how a synthesizer works and how to create very specific sounds from scratch and how to creatively design fresh modern sounds. So those are the chords we are playing, and let's have a quick look at our chain. We have some vinyl distortion, some sidechain compression, and some low cut here, and this EQ here, which is quite important to the sound we are making, but I'm turning this off later. So we load in a new sound, and now it sounds like this. So it already sounds like a pad. This is because our envelope settings by default are looking like this, and this is how a pad envelope is looking like. In episode 1 we've learned that a plug envelope shape is looking like this. If we turn up the sustain or the level, we are getting this pad kind of envelope. So the first thing we are going to do is taking the low pass 4 filter, and we are pulling down the resonance a bit and increasing the cutoff to about 12 o'clock. And then it sounds like this. Okay, sounds cool already, sounds like a pad. So now there are many ways to create a pad sound. And for example, with the envelope shape here, this is envelope 4, which is routed to the amp. Sometimes we need a pad with a short attack where you really hear the attack. And sometimes it's nicer to have no attack. And what we are doing here is just increasing the attack and maybe pulling down the attack level a bit. So, and increasing the release, as you can hear. So this is the second possibility. Another cool way is let the attack stay like it is on default, and we are pulling down the sustain or the level, how it's called in Massive. Okay, cool. We are coming to the next point. We choose a low pass filter because we wanted this kind of low pad, but actually we can take a high pass filter as well. So now we're just getting the higher frequencies of the pad, and I'm turning off this EQ here. Okay, or we take a band pass filter, and a band pass filter is looking like this. Here, this is a band pass filter, and this one here is a band reject filter. With the cutoff, you are just moving here this band, right? High bandwidth would look like this. So let's have a listen. Okay, and here we have our band reject filter. Okay, cool. So the next important thing after your type of filter, and I'm going back to the low pass filter, the next important thing and often used on pads is the reverb. And you can use quite a bit of reverb. Or you can add some chorus effect. So let's be a bit creative. We're going to the voicing tab and we're putting this unisono up to 2. And we are activating the second oscillator and turning down the amp a bit. And actually we can also enable the pitch cutoff, and we are going to have this something around 0.40. So I'm going to play this now and I'm increasing it so you can hear the difference. First, let me turn off the reverb and chorus. So here we go. So this kind of spread effect we can also achieve by pitching up and down those two oscillators, something like this, for example. So interesting as well. I'm going to reset this. So another cool thing would be taking an envelope here and routing it to this pitch of cutoff, setting the range to about this. So every time the signal is coming in, it will pitch up, will start here and pitch up, and will stay on the highest point, or it will fall down again. Let's take some LFO, and we are routing this LFO to the pitch of those two oscillators. And we are increasing it to about, let's say, 30 and 21. So let's apply some reverb to it. And maybe let's take another envelope and modeling the cutoff of the low pass filter. So I drag and drop it right in here, and then I pull it up to set the range, maybe something like this, and we are taking a long attack. So this cutoff filter is moving up slowly, and then it stays up on the highest point we selected. So let's listen in. Now we can add another oscillator, and this time we are going to take another wavetable and we will route this to filter 2. So those two oscillators are going to filter 1 and then out, and this one is going through filter 2 and then out, and we are pulling down the mix. So let's take a high pass filter in this case, maybe a high pass 2. We're pulling down the resonance a bit, and we are going to the different wavetable sounds here, looking for a nice one. Actually, let's take a bandpass filter. So now we could take an envelope and routing it to the cutoff filter. So we have a little bit of movement just in the high frequencies. Let's take another LFO and we're routing this to the pitch of filter of oscillator 3, and we are moving this up here, and we are selecting a different wave shape, for example a triangle. So let's have a listen how this sounds. Okay, sounds pretty cool, but I think we exaggerated a little bit. So let's go back to those LFOs we applied, and we are starting with LFO 5. And what we can do is turning down the amp. So I'm going to mute this third oscillator. So we are just hearing those two. Okay, now let's mute those first two oscillators, and we're going to LFO number 7. Okay, nice. And finally, we're going to LFO number 6, which is controlling the cutoff of filter 2. So oscillator 3 is routed to filter 2, and make sure this is on parallel mode. Parallel means those two oscillators are going through filter 1 and then they are going out, and number 3 is going only through filter 2 and then is going out. If we're setting this to serial, they are going through filter 1 and then through filter 2 and then out. We're going to LFO number 6 and maybe we reducing the amp here as well. And there's too much white noise going on, so let's decrease this amp button here. And actually, I don't like this wavetable, so let's look for another one. The synharmonic could work really good. Oh, I really like the sound. Okay, now we could try another crazy thing. We take the first oscillator and we're routing this to the pitch of oscillator 3, pitching it up by 1 semitone. And I'm turning off all those other oscillators. So maybe we could do something with those insert here as well, and I like the sign shaper. Okay, I think we made a quite interesting sound, and I want to mention that it's not so important which wavetable you're actually using. It's more important how your volume envelope and your filter envelope and all those LFOs are set up. You can browse through those different wavetables, giving the preset a different sound, but it will still be a pad or a pluck or a bass. Another very important thing about pads is how you EQ them. But this is more a mixing issue than a sound design thing. So it depends very much on your track. You can EQ your pads really, really hard because they are just supporting your other elements like your lead sounds, your vocals, your melodies, and so on. They are always in the background, or the most of the time they are in the background. So feel free to cut and boost a lot on your EQ. And of course, another important thing is actually your chord progressions. If you want to learn how to come up with this kind of chord progressions, we made a chord about harmony and chord progression. Check out the link in the description. I hope you like this tutorial. I hope it inspires you a bit. And subscribe to our channel, visit us on productionmusiclive.com, and hope to see you next time. Bye.